My name is Alicia. Welcome. I will be giving the webinar today. Today we're going to talk about searches, uh, everything that has to do with searches. So let's get into it. First of all, I'm going to log in. Okay, please feel free to ask any questions during the webinar. If you have any questions, please type it in the question and answer section, and I'll try to answer them as we go along. So, okay, so here's my control panel. This is what I see when I log into ReFX. To go to searches, I can do one of two things. Both things will take me to the same place, so doesn't matter which one you use. You either click on the green tile of your main product. In my case, I have professional dialer. Some of you might have professional, or some of you might have ReFX Platinum. No matter which product you have, all you have to do is click here on this icon and this tile, and that will take you to the search section. Also, you can click here in the magnifying glass that says search, and that will take you also to the search section. So as I said, either one of the places that you choose to click on will take you to the search section. So let's go there. This is my search panel. Depending on your screen, the resolution of your screen, the size of your screen, this is what you will see. If you have a big screen with high resolution, you will see the search windows here. In the middle, the parameters, and to the right, you will see the map. However, if your screen is a little bit smaller, let me show you, you will not see the map on the right, but you can click here on map view, and it will show you the map. So that depends on the resolution of your screen. Don't worry if you look at your screen right now, when you log into your account and it's not the same as mine, that depends on the resolution of the screen. A little trick I do is that I bring down the percentage of the zoom on my screen to 90%. And that way, even though my screen is not as big to fit in everything, if I bring down the resolution to 90%, it does fit the map and I have everything on the screen, and I don't have to be switching from map view to grid view. So that's a little trick if your screen is a little bit smaller. If your screen is big and have a high resolution, you won't have this issue. Okay, so here we are in the search panel. ReFX has a lot of filters here, so you can get exactly the type of properties that you want. There's different type of filters that are used differently. So let's look at some of them. First of all, you have the first section up here. These are the main filters, the basic filters. Location. Here you would type in, if you're looking for a particular address, you would type in the short address, that is the number of the street and the street name. Do not type in city and zip code in this window because it won't work. Here you can only put the address, the short address. That is the number of the street and the name. And if it's an apartment, the apartment number, whatever. But the city goes in this second one. Then you select the state and then the county, sorry. If you're looking in Florida, you have all counties, of course, you will have the option to look for any of the 67 counties in the state of Florida. So let's do our search in Broward today. I'm leaving it in Florida. I'm not going to type anything in location because I'm going to do a general search. In city, And this is one of the types of filters that I was talking about. There's different types of filters, filters that you type in numbers, filters that you type in words. So depending on the type of filter is the selection that you do in the drop down of the type of what you're going to type in. For example, in city, I have the option to type in exact, not exact, contains, not contains, empty, not empty, multiple contains, and multiple not contains. What is this? If I'm going to search in a specific city and I know the exact name, I just type it, leave it at exact and type in the name of the city that I want to look in. If I'm not really sure how to spell it, I would select not exact. If I only know part of the name of the city, maybe, for example, Fort Lauderdale, there's Lauderdale Beach and whatever, I can type in contains and only type in part of. If I want to look for several cities, remember they all have to be within the county that you're searching. And if you're using zip code, you have to use make sure they are within the zip code that you're looking for. You can select not contains if you want everything but what particular city. Actually, really wouldn't work in this one because they all would have a city, but the idea is that this is one type of filter. For example, this empty and not empty would work for, let's see. Oh, well, I'll look for one that will work with. Multiple contains and multiple not contains. I'll show you how these multiple contains, multiple not contains works when we go to the owner's name. Same thing with zip code. If I want to look for one specific zip code in, let's say, Broward 33325, I leave it at exact. If I want all other zip codes except this one because I don't want to work in this one, I would select not contains. I'm going to type in several zip codes. I type it in one next to another, separated by commas, no spaces, 33329. But in this case, since I'm typing two zip codes, I cannot select contains or not contains. I have to select multiple contains or multiple not contains. In this case, multiple contains because I want to look in these two zip codes. Then we have the public data. This is what type of properties that I'm looking for. Oh, not what type, in what conditions, whether it's, I want properties that are for sale, if I want properties that are for sale by owner, if I want properties that are foreclosure, I can start filtering down with the specific filter. However, I can use other filters to get to this and leave it at public records. But if I don't want to mess with any other filter and want properties that are for sale, I just select for sale here and go ahead and look for the other filters. I'm going to leave it at public records because I'm going to use the other filters to get exactly what I want. Then I have type. Type is the type of property that I'm looking for. If I want to look for single family properties, I would select single family. I have the option to select condos, towns, and villas, multifamily plus 10 or minus 10, commercial, vacant land, and mobile homes. I have to select one of them. I cannot select one, two. For example, if in this zip code, I want to look for single family and I want to look for condos, I have to do two separate searches. I would search first for single family and then come back with all the other filters, maybe leave them at the same because um, it's the same thing that I want. But in that case, I would select condos and do a second search for condos. I cannot select two at the same time, only select one. I'm going to select now single family. Then I have the foreclosure tab. In the foreclosure, I can leave it at any. That is, it will, my results will bring anything, whether it's in foreclosed, pre-foreclosed, if it's not in foreclosure, it doesn't matter the state of the property, it will bring them. I can select no, that is, it will bring me properties that have no pre-foreclosure or foreclosure status. I'm not interested in that type of property, so I select no, so the system will filter out all those properties. Then I can select pre-foreclosed. In the system, the properties will be tagged as pre-foreclosed once a lease pendant has been filed, the owner has been notified, but it doesn't have an auction date set up. And last of all, we have the foreclosure. The foreclosed properties, there are properties that, of course, the owner was notified, the lease pendant was filed, but in this case, they do have an auction date set up. Either it's coming up in shortly, or it has just passed by and the system has not updated, or public records has not completely updated the information in public records, so the clerk's office, so that property still appears as foreclosed, even though the auction date just went by and the property, whether in the auction was sold or not, that is something that has to be later updated. And once it's updated in public records, it will be updated here. Probates. When the owner of the property passes, the property begins the process of probates. That is, it becomes state and starts all the legal process of distributing the property to the heirs. That is probate. So if you leave it at all, that means that you're not making any selections. So in your results, you will have anything, whether it's probates or not. But if you are looking for probates, you select yes. And if you are not interested in anything of probate, that's something that you don't want to mess around with, you select no. Live state is another type of legal procedure. The live state, the property is temporarily under the name of someone until he passes and then goes back to the original owner, or depending on the contract that it has, it would pass to another one. So that's a type of legal process also. So again, if you leave it at yes, at all, it just means that you're not making any selections, so it will come or not come in your results. If this is something that you are particularly looking for right now, you just select yes. And it's something that you don't want to mess around, just click on no, and it will leave those out. The vacant filter. This vacant filter is available only for those of you that have professional dialer. If you have platinum or professional, you will not have the vacant filter. What is the vacant filter? The vacant filter will bring you properties that have been abandoned or vacant for at least the past 2 years. Again, if you leave it at all, it's just not making any selection, so it will bring them or not bring them in differently. And if you select yes, that is the search that you're going to make. You're going to look for properties that are empty, that they're not being occupied, that they're abandoned. And if you click no, is that you don't want to mess around with those ones, so you don't want them in your results. Again, I'm going to leave it as, oh, only going to select here pre-foreclosed. Okay, so those are the basic filters on the top. Then we have filters down here so we can specify more and get exactly what we want. If you see here, we have these different squares. What these are tabs. See, if I move from one or another, the filters below change because they are filters specific for what I'm selecting. The public record ones are general filters that I can use for any of the other categories. Then if I'm looking for properties for sale, I can, let's say, I selected up here Broward, specific zip code, public records, and pre-foreclosed. So I haven't selected much. Right now I have properties in Broward that are in public records, so there is no specification there. That are pre-foreclosed, that are single family and within the zip code 33325 and going to put 33329. So that's what I have selected up to now. Now in the public records tab, I'm going to select a market value. Let's say I want properties that have a market value equal or less than 400. You have to type in all the zeros. So there we have the market value of equal or less than 400,000. I select the properties that are in pre-foreclosed, but let's say even though they're in pre-foreclosed and I know they will have debts, I don't want properties that are completely upside down. So I'm going to put here in debt to equity equal or greater than 20. This percentage in this specific filter is an inverse percentage. What I mean is debt to equity, if I put here 20%, that means that 20% of the debt on the property will be 80%. The percentage, the number here is the part of the percentage that will be free of debt. So if I want properties that are completely free of debt, I would put 100%. In this case, I have selected pre-foreclosed, so I know these properties will have debts in them, but I want properties that are not completely upside down. They have at least some equity in them, so I selected equal or greater than 20. So I will get properties that have at least 20% equity in them. They're not completely in debt, they're not upside down. They will have 20 or more equity in them. As you see, there is a lot of filters I can use. I can put in how many bathrooms I want. If I'm looking for a particular property, the best way, the most direct way to look for it is with the folio number. So if you have a property and you want to look up that particular property, this is a filter you should use. Folio number. Look for the folio number and put it in here, and the system will look for it. Okay. Gross area, living area, legal description, sold price, sold date. Let's say I want properties that have not been sold in the last year. So let's select equal or less than and put a date. January 1st. Okay, let's keep scrolling down, looking at, okay, I have, if I'm looking for tax delinquent properties, I have the filter for tax delinquent. Owner, owner occupied, yes or no. This is a filter for owner occupied. Again, if I don't care whether it's owner occupied or not, I just leave it at all. If I want properties that the owner lives in, as opposed to properties that are maybe rented out, I select yes. And if I don't want properties that the owner lives in it, I want properties that the owner is the landlord, I would select no. The owner does not live in the property. This filters for owners I can use for looking for a specific owner. Let's say I have a name of someone, I want to look for properties owned by him. But I can also use it to leave out or filter in specific things that I want. For example, the owner's name filter, I can use to filter out, for example, I select multiple not contains and type in keywords that will help me filter out things like properties that are owned by banks or LLCs or corporations. So how do I do that? I select multiple not contains and type in those keywords that I don't want to be in the name of the owner. For example, Inc. Again, it's the same as we did with the zip code. What I type in, I separate by commas, no spaces, LLC, bank, financial, corp, EST. Okay, so hopefully when we do the search, the properties that will come up are properties that are owned by John Smith and not Bank of whatever, because the name of the owner will be just a regular name and it will not contain those keywords that I just typed in here. Or maybe I do want properties that are bank owned, and instead of putting multiple not contains, I select multiple contains. So that is, as always, it depends on what it is that you're looking for. If you want, I'm not going to use it right now, but this is something you might want to know. The state. I'm under the section for owner. If I want owners that do not live in Florida, that is out-of-state owners, the property is in Florida, but I want property, I want owners that do not live in Florida. Maybe they live far away and they might be more interested in getting rid of whatever they have there, whatever. It's just something to think about. How do I do that? I just select not contain FL, Florida. As I said, I'm not going to do that in this particular search. Again, I keep scrolling down. Waterfront, taxable, known debts, section, lot unit, subdivision name, air conditioning, zoning. Okay, this is all that I have in public records. As I said, we have different tabs. Up to now, I have Broward, public records, pre-foreclosed, single family, these two specific zip codes, debt to equity, market value, owner's name not contains this particular keywords and that have not been sold in the last year. Let's move. I'm not filtering out anything about sales, but let me show you a little bit what we have here in the for sale section. I can look for a specific sales status, active, that is just active with no other condition. We have contingent, we have new construction, pending, and no pending. I can select either one of this if my search is for properties for sale. If I'm looking for a specific property, specific listing number, I can look for that. Gross area, listing price. Let's say I want properties in this area that are listed between 200 and 400. I would type in those two numbers there. Days in the market, let's say I could put properties that have been on the market for over 90 days. This is the type of things that you would put here. Year build, potential equity, active equity, gross area, where it has the pool. The filter for HOA fee, this is the homeowners association fee. This is something that we only have for active properties, and this is something that you might be interested in using. Maybe you want properties that do not have an HOA fee, so you just type in, select here equal or less than, and put 0. And that will bring you properties that do not have HOA fee. However, as I just said, this is a filter that only works for active properties. Unfortunately, it doesn't work for properties that are not active for sale. Then you have the rental tab. Again, if your search is for rental properties, you have the filters here. For sale by owner, remember, for sale by owners are properties that are being sold, but they're not listed in MLS. They're listed in other pages such as Trulia or Zillow or other pages of that type. Foreclosure. Since I did select pre-foreclose, I could, no, but I don't, in this case, I'm not going to put anything right now. But here, if you were selecting foreclosed properties and you want properties that will go up for auction, and let's say in the next 3 months, you could use the auction between, or maybe not between, just select equal or greater than, or a specific auction amount. I want the auction amount to be between 200 and 400. I could use that here. Or the other filters are actually just more specific if you're looking for something more specific, like a holder, specific holder, a mortgager, a plaintiff. Then you have the mortgage. If you're looking for properties that have a mortgage, you can look for mortgage amount or recorded date. Those would be the ones that you would use for basic searches, regular searches. The other ones are more specific if you're looking for something specific. Buyer, second buyer, lender, borrower, grantor. Those are if you're looking for something specific. Probates, as I told you before, probates are properties that are in the process under a will. And here, if you're looking for a specific representative, in general, you would use published date. Let's say in the last year, I want properties that have been published in probate in the last year, and use the filter for the last year, type go back a year here, or maybe 2 years. The other ones are specific for the representative or the attorney. Then I have expire. This expires filter is only available for those of you that have a realtor's license and have provided that number for us. And we can add additional features to your account without any additional cost. And this is one of those features. You can search for expired listings. And open violations. Last of all, this is a filter for properties that have open violations. And again, this is a filter specific for those of you that have professional dialer. It's not available for platinum or professional subscribers. If you want to know, if you do not have Dialer and you want to know more about this, just give us a call or open a chat and we'll be happy to give you all the information on any of these features and how to get them. Okay, so this is the search that I want to do right now. Broward, public records, single family in this specific zip code, properties that have at least 20% equity with a market value of 400. The owner is not an institution, a bank, and that have not been sold in the last year. So let's click on search and see what we come up with. That gave me 20 properties that fit the criteria that I selected. Let me show this. If this is a search that I will do in other opportunities, this is the type of properties that I'm usually interested in. I can save the search, not the results. This results, the only way to save them, this is something that came up today. Tomorrow, if I do the same search, maybe the properties will change because the data will change. So if I do the search today, I get this 20 properties, maybe I'll do it next week and it will be 18 properties, and some of these will still be there, some of them will not, there would be new ones in here. So I cannot save the results. What I can save is the search, and I'll show you right now how to save that search parameters. However, if if these properties, this 20 properties is what I want to work with, what I would do is, if you have professional dialer, if you have platinum, you do not have follow-up, so you would not be able to do that, is select the properties and send them to my follow-up. And that way I can start working with these properties in my follow-up. The other thing I could do is export these properties to an Excel sheet. There is a limit of 10,000 properties that I can export per month. So make sure that you get exactly what you want to export. There is let me show you how to save the search parameters and we'll come back to results. There are some things here in results that we can do. Even though our webinar today is for searches, I'm going to show you how to work a little bit with the results. So, but let's go back to search because our webinar today is about search. So let's say this is a search that I want to do several times. Maybe I want to do it once a month to get the new properties that fit the criteria. This is the type of properties that I will be customary working with. So I want to save the search. How do I save the search? All I have to do is click here and manage search. If I click on manage search, I'll see that I have some pre-saved searches. If you're a BRIA mentor student, you'll have BRIA searches preset in your account. If you're a DRIA mentor student, you would have the MP searches. Those are put here by your mentoring program. And that's what the MP stands for, mentoring program. If you're not with one of the associations, BRIA or DRIA, or BPM, sorry. Now it's not BRIA, now it's BPM. You will have, nonetheless, quite a bit of searches preset in your account that are RFX, that are REFX searches. What are these searches? They're just preset parameters of specific searches that if you look at the description, you can see what it is about. For example, bank-owned multifamily. It's pretty explicit. This, if you apply search, you will find properties that are there are multifamily and there are bank-owned. Pre-foreclosed upside down single family, probates out-of-state single family. Okay, but that, let's see, first of all, how to save the one that I just did. I want to save these parameters, and then I'll show you how to play around with all of that. Okay, so these are the parameters I want to save. So I click on Manage Search, click on New, give a name to the search so I know what it is about. This is Broward, this is Broward. Pre-foreclosed 20% the equity. Okay, I'll leave that as the name and put in the description the zip codes 33325, 33329. What else did we have there? Pre-foreclosed. Oh, I had market value up to 400K. This is just the description, so I know what that search is about. And I click on save. So Broward pre-foreclosed, save. Okay. So let me close this. Let me clear this. And let's go back to control panel. How do I retrieve that search I just saved? Next week when I come in, I want to do that same search I did last week. I go to search. I don't have nothing here, so I click on manage search. And I look for the one that I saved. In this case, it's right at top. This will be saved in alphabetical order. So since you do have pre-saved searches and in your account, for example, the REFX ones are quite a bit. I think they're around 60. I particularly would recommend you to put in the name starting with letters that will be before the R. So yours, the ones you have just saved, will be on top. If not, in any case, it doesn't matter. You can start typing the name and click on search. So it doesn't matter. It's just a little trick I'm giving you. Okay, so this is a search I just created, and this is a search that I want to make. So all I have to do is select it and click and load. And see, it put in all the parameters of that search. Broward, for sale, pre-foreclosed, Florida, single family with at least 20% equity with a market value. But this one isn't the one. I might have another one with same name, because this is not the one that we created right now. This has a market value between 200 and 1 million. That one we created was below 400. Well, in any case, okay. So this is a search I created last week, for example, and I want to do it again. But maybe this time I don't want to do it in Broward. I want to do it this time in Palm Beach. So even though I retrieved the previous search I had created, I can still change little details here and then go and click on search. Or maybe, for example, as I said, I don't think this is the one we saved right now. I'm sure this is one I saved previously. That's why this market value is not the same that we were working with earlier. So I'm going to change this market value. I'm going to change it to equal or less than 600. And this is a search. I don't want to have the other search we had before. This is the new parameters that I'm going to work from now on. So I click on manage search, look for the search with a name. This is not, as I said, this is not the one we save right now, but this is the one that I'm going to edit right now. I want to overwrite this search with the new parameters I just changed in this search. So I click on overwrite. So now if I click on clear and I go to manage search and I click on browse, see this is Broward. I'm sure if I look for Broward, see this is the one that we saved today. Broward pre-foreclosed. I knew that wasn't the one. Broward this is the one we created today, but let's work with that one up there. So now if I click on load, see, now it has the changes I made. Now it's not Broward, it's Palm Beach, and now it has a market value of 600. However, the only detail is I can overwrite, but with the same name. I cannot overwrite and change the name and description, but I can edit name here, or I can copy it. If I if I select it and copy it, now I have a copy of that one, and I can rename this one Palm Beach. And save. And now I have Palm Beach there. That copy button is useful also for the preset searches that you have. The preset searches that you have in the system, you cannot edit them. For example, let's look for tax delinquent properties. These are condos for sale, tax delinquent. Let's click on load and click on search. And this is my results. Let's say I want to do this search, but not with condos. I want to do it with single family. Oh, maybe commercial. Let's put commercial. And I want to save this. That was context. As I told you, I can type in and look for them. So that was this one. This one, if I click on edit, default searches can't be edited. If I click on override, default searches can't be edited. What I can do is make a copy, and this copy, I can change anything I want in it. I can change the name, I can change the parameters, having the basic ones that it already had, because that's what I wanted to copy, but I can change little details there. Okay, so that's how I work with managed searches. I can, once I have the parameters just as I want them here, I click on manage search and save my new search with the name I want to give it and my description so I can look for it later. I can use the managed search to use the preset searches that the system has for me. I can override them, edit them, change their names, just as long as they're the ones that I've created. And the ones that are preset in my system, I can copy them. And once I copy them, those copies I can edit, change, or whatever I want with them. Okay, that is as far as searches go. And the other little thing that I wanted to show you, that it's not actually about searches, about results. So if you know more about results, go to one of our previous webinars about results. But since we are in the searches and I mentioned the part about exporting, I wanted to make sure you know that if you export you will export the information that is on screen. By default, this is my default template. I have listing number, address, city, zip code, gross area, living area, bedrooms, bathrooms, waterfront build, foreclosure status, list price, market value. This is what I have here by default. However, if I want to export and I want other information that it's not shown here, I will export and that information will not be here unless I create or apply a grid template that includes the information I want to export. So how do I do that? I click here and either create a template with the information that I want or apply one that I already have. For example, I have one already created. As I said, this is just so you know, but if you actually want to know how to do this, please go ahead and go to the help section and look for the videos on how to create result templates. Give us a call, schedule a coaching, or look at previous webinars. I have a grid template. This is a default one, but I have one here for owners. Owner's information. I want to export the properties with the owner's information. I have several with owners. I don't remember exactly which ones, what exactly they have, but well, if you are a DREA mentor student, as you see this MP, that mentor program, you do have this MP owner, MP for owner for sale. But I create this one, owner's info test today. I click on load. And now I have address, bathrooms, build value, and I have the owner's name, owner's city, zoning, address, phone number if available, case amount. So now if I select this and click on export, my Excel sheet will have this information. So I can create my grid templates with any information that I want to export, any of the available information that I want. So make sure before exporting information, properties, You have on screen with a specific grid template the information that you want to export, because as I said before, you have a limit of how many properties you can export in a month. So make sure you export the information you need. So that's what I wanted to show you about my search today. Do we have any questions? Remember that you can ask any quick questions during the day. Just click on the blue bubble on the bottom left corner. That will open a live chat. And you can ask any quick questions. We will, as soon as you type in your question and click on send, we'll try during office hours from 9 in the morning till 6 in the afternoon. We'll answer most of the time immediately and help you as best as we can. If you're working after hours, just go ahead and leave your question there and we'll try to answer it as soon as we can next morning. You can call and schedule a coaching whenever you want. If you have any questions about what we saw today or any other part of the system that you want to learn to use better, just schedule a coaching. Again, you can do it through the chat. You can send us an email. You can give us a call and we'll be happy to schedule a one-on-one for you. Again, the same from Monday through Friday from 9 in the morning till 6 in the afternoon. We're here to help you at any moment. So it was a pleasure being with you today. Thank you for being here and wait for all of you next week. Have a great weekend. Bye.